Steve Myers. His speech criteria is from the Confident Communication Manual, Project 9, Persuade with Power. The title of his speech is Cell Phones, Time to Get Smart. Evaluating Steve today is Richard Goldstein. Richard, can you outline what Steve's speech objectives should be?
Absolutely. Thank you. Mr. Myers' assignment today is to persuade listeners to adopt his viewpoint or ideas and to take some action. It's not supposed to be an inspirational speech. He should analyze his audience and appeal to their interests. He should use logic and emotion to support his position. He should organize thoughts carefully and choose words that add power to the message, use body language and vocal variety to add even more impact, and avoid using notes. And that's what he's supposed to do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Steve has a degree in electrical engineering from UNR. One of the exciting and popular areas in that field is communication. With our society hooting and hollering on the bandwagon of personal electronic technology, perhaps we may benefit by slowing down a bit to reflect on the price we pay to keep up with the Joneses. I'd like to introduce Steve Myers. Cell phones, time to get smart. Time to get smart, Steve Myers.
Yeah. Jimmy, can I get the little bag in there? Easy. What do I have in the bag today? Some iconic little props I've used today. Ever see one of these? Bag of cigarettes. That's simple. Very popular. Back in the 30s and 40s, when the movies started coming out, the iconic Humphrey Bogarts and the very seductive, female lead blowing a cloud of smoke and hissing some "come hither" words to her lover. Wow, those things grabbed us. They become part of our culture. They become a status symbol. My father's generation grew up. That was kind of expected. What the kids did. If you one of the hip kids, you smoke and you roll your T-shirt up and you probably drive fast cars too. Help me with this one.
Weird.
I have no idea. No idea. Thank you. Alcohol. Biggie too. Alcohol's been around for thousands and thousands of years. This century marked the use of alcohol as quite a tool with marketing. If you grew up with the Bud Light commercials and they get these really 6 hot chicks with white bikinis on and the word Bud Light written across the small little areas of material, it leaves a mark with you. When you can hardly get a dozen high school kids unattended today without cases of this just popping up out of nowhere. It's just assumed that's what you do to loosen up. That's what you do to be a hip party. They're part of our culture. Something changed back in the 60s. In fact, in the 60s, we had something come in called information. And some of this information told us about cigarettes. About half the people who smoke cigarettes die of a cigarette-related illness, usually cancer. And they usually lose about 14 years off their life. I mentioned these statistics. I'm not even talking about the ethics or morals or what you should do and what keeps your spirit clean. I'm talking hard, physical facts about your body. Alcohol. It's like everything it touches, throat, cancer, your stomach, liver, everything just eventually will rot away. Not to even mention the brain effects that go on and the addictions. These are injected with things to make you addicted to them. And the nicotine. And again, it's a plow going through everywhere it touches and blows out. And the next guy who wasn't even smoking is getting affected by this. This is just very physical things. those were big, iconic, cultural elements in the generations past when information came along. You ever seen one of these?
What's that, doorstop?
This isn't even that smart. This is our generation's big bursting thing. When you see movies with, Brad Pitt on the cell phone, or the cops are using him, someone as brilliant as Steve Jobs just inventing new ways that the whole human family is more bound now to the great communication that's coming in. It sounds like an awesome thing. And what happens with the poor little, follow the pack mentality is the keep up with the Joneses effect. These have become status symbols. You can hardly walk onto an elementary school after the age of about 10 without kids having one of these in possessions. Huge convenience. And I think as communications go, there's a lot of great things this is offering us. But have we gone in so fast on what we could do that we slowed down on even caring about what we should do, what's safe for us? And we assumed that, they've been around for so long, they must be safe. They wouldn't let us be having them, sticking them into our heads if they weren't safe. I've always suspected these little fellas, especially when they took on the name smart, implying that others of us perhaps weren't. And with the research out there about what's the effects, you see two camps, and it's a controversial subject. But why is it controversial? Well, this is a $1 trillion industry. I never even heard that term before. This is $1 trillion. And the scientists will go and study the physical effects, how this is deteriorating the brain with the radiation. It's deteriorating the brain-blood barrier that's supposed to protect our brain. And cases after cases of people developing cancers based on the heat that is generated, based on the way your DNA starts to unravel under the effects of this. You taste that in microwave, which in a microwave oven, it's the same technology. It's the same class of waves, microwaves, that we stick into our heads. Now this is about 1,000th of the power of a microwave oven, but 1,000th of something that's cooking your food. It has to be doing something wrong with your head. Now I have felt this, and some people are sensitive to this. I have felt from early on, there's something weird after that. And part of my challenge today is to persuade you. Do you feel something wrong with what this is doing to your head? I can feel it. I had an employer who said they wanted me to carry a cell phone. I said, I don't want to carry cell phones because I'm allergic to them. Oh, you can't be allergic to them. I said, okay, put a blindfold on me, hold up on one side of my head a cell phone, other side of my head a banana. And he held them up, and as I told him, I will tell you which is which. And soon, seconds later, gave away belittled my whole intuition argument. But I can feel it. It's like the food you put in a microwave oven, it comes out, you can taste it's different. Your body's meant to carbohydrates and proteins, you link what you call your taste buds link up in a certain way to expected patterns. When those patterns are changed in a microwave, you can taste a little difference. Now, 1,000th of that power is changing the DNA inside of your head. How does this show itself? I think there's lots of little subtle ways. I think some of the more dramatic ones are the brain tumors. Other things might be learning deficiencies, mood disorders. This is worth looking into. They came, we realized they're rough, and the momentum of our culture kept us going. This is our challenge. Are we going to at least stop and ask, is there a safer way to use this than what we've been taught so far? I hope today that you will Google cell phone radiation and find out for yourselves.